How's it going? Let me tell you an age-old joke. What did the tortoise say to the hare? Why aren't you on that bald man's head? Thanks for checking out the fourth episode of our podcast, No Pain, No Brian. We are now officially up on every major streaming platform, so if you want to check us out, please do on other platforms. You know, we always love the views and maybe give us ratings and stuff. And also, you can check out our website and Discord linked in the description of every episode. And that's all I got for you today, so let's get into the podcast.
Is Brian there?
Dun 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 dun. Welcome to the fourth episode of the No Pain, No Brian podcast with me, my lovely self, and my boy Sam. Hi, Sam.
Not so lovely self.
What's going on?
Up?
What? No, I think you are a lovely man.
Wow,
Sam.
thank you.
And I think it is fantastic that we're already on our fourth episode. We're having our 1 month anniversary, Sam. The thing that we love so much.
Yes.
We love 1 month anniversaries.
Yeah, what are we doing, dude? What should we do?
Let's celebrate by recording an episode.
That's a great idea.
Yep. So
If only
let's
Brian
get
was
into
here
it.
to do it with us.
What a chump! Not even here for our 1 month
Flake.
anniversary.
What a total flake.
What a yeah.
We really named this whole thing after him.
Come on, Brian. We do miss you though. If you come back, we'll forgive you.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, didn't you say not to do that in the last
Not to do
episode?
what?
Be like,
Forgive
oh,
Ryan?
We'll forgive you. Yeah.
It's all a cover.
Dang.
You just ruined it. It was all gonna be a cover.
No. Okay.
No, okay. I was gonna.
No, because I said that. I said that last episode, and you were like, no, wait, no, we shouldn't do that.
What? No, it's a cover story, right?
Oh, okay.
So when he comes back,
Got you.
we'll
Got you.
act like we forgive
Right.
him, but really we're pissed.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Welcome
Brian,
back to the
if
fourth
you're out
episode.
there, no. But we'll cut that. Cut.
Yeah, right. Cut, yeah.
Yeah, Brian, if you're out there, we'll forgive you, man. We care. We are worried about you.
We'll give you money.
Come back to us.
Please.
All right, so what are we talking about in this episode, Sam?
Josh, let's see. We should talk more about ourselves a little bit. Just a little bit. We've talked
Okay.
about ourselves a lot, I think. I think that's kind of the
Have
whole
we?
point of this podcast, honestly.
I mean, honestly, I don't even know what this podcast is about, Sam. We just kind of talk to talk.
Exactly. And I think that
I
shows a
love
lot
it.
about ourselves. But anyway,
All right,
we're
so-
going to start off with some basic topics, all right, that we haven't
Okay.
covered yet,
Topic me.
somehow. All right,
Topic me, baby.
let's go. Movies, TV shows, anything that appears on that screen in your living room.
In my living room.
Or whatever.
I don't watch much TV in my living room,
Wherever
Sam.
your television is, it's in my living room.
What do you want? Like my favorite movie?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't. My favorite movie is probably maybe The Hunger Games.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
I have never
'cause
heard
that
that
was.
before.
Listen to me, right? Hear me out.
Okay.
Hunger Games. I read the book in 7th grade, right?
Okay.
Right before the movie
Yeah.
came out, and that was the first book I actually read that I started to enjoy reading, right?
Really?
And now I read a lot.
So
right?
it's like a association thing.
Right. It has like such importance to me in my
Right.
life. I literally remember because did I talk about how bad I was at reading back in the day on the podcast?
Yeah, on the podcast.
Okay. Well, I was like literally in elementary school. I was in a special ed reading group, even though that I wasn't special ed, just because I was so slow and bad at reading, and I hated it so much. Right. I hated everything about it, and so what I did was I just dodged all the tests. You know, I would like fake the tests.
Ooh.
Because we had to do like air tests.
How would you fake
and
the
then,
test?
I just kind of like knew, like I just had friends who like knew what they read, right? And I was like, hey, what are the answers to this?
Nice.
But no, in 7th grade we had to do like this different test, and it like you couldn't cheat on it, right?
Aw.
And you could pick your books, and you could pick every quarter we had to do one fiction and one nonfiction book, right?
Right.
And the first book I read was Hunger Games.
Got you.
And And literally, I was so hesitant to read it. My mom had to sit me down with her, and she was like, "I'll read a chapter and you read a chapter, but you got to get it done." And so that's what I did. I started reading it, and I loved it. So I kept reading it, and then we had to read a nonfiction book. That sucks. But then I went back to the fiction book. No, and I really do love it though.
So
I love reading so much now. So
is that
it
your
means so
favorite book
much.
too?
No.
No.
But no, because my favorite book is a book by Cinda Williams Chima, which she's a smaller
right. Yeah, I know
author.
who she is.
Really?
Yeah, I've read some.
That's actually awesome. And she wrote this series called the Seven Realms series, right?
Yeah.
And when I started reading it, there was 3 out of the 4 books completed of the series, and actually right as I was finishing the 3rd book, the 4th book had come out.
Oh, nice.
Which is awesome, right?
Perfect.
And it is honestly the pinnacle of authoring. The pinnacle of whatever, it's
right.
Literally the highlight, right?
Okay.
I can't think of a better way to write a book, right? And it's like it has everything I like. It has like fantasy, right, which is one of my favorite, and then like magic, and then like also it's this really cool multi-story where there's 2 main characters, right?
Right.
And I can give a synopsis. I think that's fine. And so the main character is a dude, and he's really one of the main characters is a dude, and he's really, really poor, right? And he lives in the slums, and he's so poor, and he has to take care of his mother and sister because his father died, that he runs a gang, right?
Okay.
And he hates it, but he does it to keep his family alive, right? And they're like super poor, and it's a super bad living condition. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, there's also the girl that's the other main character, right?
Okay.
And you switch off every chapter, so
Okay.
you'll be reading his chapter, then you'll be reading her chapter.
Yeah.
And she is actually the princess, right?
Right.
Of the throne. And so it's really interesting how the stories develop, right? And it's super enjoyable, and like they talk about like these tribes that are around them and everything,
Right.
And pretty much what happens is that their paths like intertwine throughout the story, right? Okay. And it's beautiful. It's so masterful. So like if anyone out there wants to read it, hit me up. I'll talk about it for hours.
And hours. But yeah.
And hours, exactly. But yeah, I really love that series. But that's my favorite series. But no, Hunger Games does have a really like important place in my heart. And it's not just like I thought the books were okay, right? Okay. I didn't think they were like wow, but I thought they were good. But I just think that that was what made me start reading, and that's like one of the most important things in my life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I remember reading the Hunger Games series. I read it for the first time, I believe, in 4th grade, which was for me right around when the first movie came out.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, and then I read that whole series, and then I think about a year and a half ago, I reread the series, and that's also a really interesting thing to do.
I love rereading series.
Yeah, especially like when, like after like a span of years, developmental years, in our lives, like we had a really great opportunity to do that, because you get so much more out of it.
And that's such a staple book, like in our generation.
Yeah.
Like almost everyone knows about it. It's like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Even though that I never read Harry Potter, but like most people did.
You should do that. I would recommend it. Strongly recommend it.
It's just such an epic. You have to read so much.
Yeah. It's a lot. Because back when I started my freshman year, I had run out of like new books that looked interesting to me, which I mean, I'm sure I could have found something, right? I could have just tried something and it would have been fine.
Exactly.
But nothing really caught my eye, and so I was like, I'm gonna reread stuff. So I started out with the Harry Potter series because that was formerly my favorite series, and at the time it still was. So I reread that, and then I think I reread the Hunger Games series. So about 2 years ago, and then
that's awesome.
Yeah, and then I reread the Inheritance series.
The Inheritance series. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's Aragon, which is the dragon, and it's such a good series. I love that series. It's rereading it because I'd already read it years before.
That's awesome.
But rereading it became my favorite series. It's 4 books.
Yeah, actually, what I did, and this is really interesting because I had when I was in 7th grade,
right,
and had read the Hunger Games series, right? it was really hard for me, because I had never read like very much before,
Yeah.
right? So it took me a long time to read.
Yeah,
these
I
books.
remember reading the Hunger Games for the first time, and I thought that the style it was written in terms of like how they used the tense, was very weird.
I thought I never like looking back on it now, it wasn't that hard of a read, right?
Yeah, no. When
But
I
at the
reread it, I was
time-
like, oh, okay, this is normal. But yeah,
right. But at the time, it was a really it was really hard for me, right?
Yeah.
So what I did is I actually went and read the Guardians of Gahul, the Owl
yes, yeah. I
series,
started
right?
reading that series.
And-
I never finished it, but I read it.
Yeah, I read all the books. There was like 14 books. It was very long. But no, like and it's more geared towards younger kids, so it was a lot easier of a read, and that actually helped me develop my reading skill a lot.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, what's your favorite movie, Sam?
There's been a long period of time where I just didn't really watch movies at all. Right. This is from.
I know this.
Yes, you know this, but I'm explaining.
I know this, Sam.
Yes. And this lasted years. It was a long time since I'd like watched movies. For like 6 years, I watched maybe like 5 total.
Wow.
Yeah. But so my favorites. Geez. I really enjoyed Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, of course, the
Of course,
classic.
Of course, it's a classic, but not very unique. It's kind of I don't know if I have a definitive favorite. I'll be honest.
I think Pulp Fiction was more unique at the time, right?
Well, yeah. Well,
But
no,
now
I mean
it's been
just
copied,
I'm,
right?
well, no, I
And that's
mean
why it's the classic.
I mean just like a unique, like popular favorite movie choice.
Right. Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I thought the movie itself was very. I thought it was very. I thought the style in which it was told was very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But as like a definitive favorite, it's so hard to choose for me. Like even the movies that we've watched together, what Your Name, and what Silent
Your
Voice.
Name, A Silent Voice, and Howl's Moving Castle, right?
Right, yeah.
Those are the 3.
Yeah, Howl's Moving Castle.
Oh, also I have
okay.
another movie we're gonna watch.
Oh, awesome.
What's it called? One sec. It's a movie that came out this year. Actually, you want to know what's really interesting? I didn't watch one movie from 2018.
Wow.
That's really amazing, right? And I noticed this because I'm trying to relate to people in life,
Right.
And so people will be talking about movies, and I didn't see one movie from 2018.
Oh, you never saw Bohemian Rhapsody?
I never saw Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian Rhapsody was stellar.
That's good.
Yeah, it was really good.
I wanna see it so bad.
You should.
So bad.
You should.
Let's watch it together, Sam.
Let's do that. I'm down. I think it's on Netflix.
Is it really?
I think so. I'm not sure.
Let's
Don't
do
quote
it.
me on that. Do not quote me on that. I only know this because I only think this because I saw one of my friends like post on their story just them watching it at their home, which literally could mean that it was on any platform, not Netflix. But
Right.
yeah, it's a bit of an assumption there.
This movie is called freak me if I can pronounce this right. Maquia, right?
Okay.
When the Promised Flower Blooms, right?
Okay.
And it's apparently amazing, right? It's another anime movie, but it's ranked 89 like out of any show ever, right?
Right.
And it looks so good, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
So we gotta watch that together.
Let's do that.
But yeah, no, I mean, freaking like it's not an issue that you don't watch movies, right? Because freaking going to the movies and stuff is so expensive anymore, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But like, I think it's fine.
I do.
It's whatever.
I enjoy going to the movies for sure, but like sitting down and watching, it's kind of to me.
It's good. It's good when you're with someone.
Yeah.
It's the company that makes it count.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is weird because you're not talking much.
No, but it's just like being there, human contact.
Having someone there with you, right?
So touch starved. What?
It's such an amazing thing. Like I learned this a lot from our watch party, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Watching things with someone
It's
is
so
awesome.
much. It's so much more fun.
Right. It's like a lot of like
Yeah.
it's boring watching stuff by yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I could never sit down and watch a movie by myself anymore.
Oh no,
I have to be watching it with
I've
someone.
never. No, I have been able to. One thing that I do enjoy, just like on a late like summer night or something, just like sit down and have like a movie on your phone. That's kind of enjoyable.
Right.
That's pretty enjoyable. I've done that.
I can't do that. I mean, like, I've watched like anime by myself, but like never like anime movies. I watched one, and I was disappointed because I didn't feel it, you know. But
Right.
then like when I'm watching it with someone, like even if it's
Yeah.
the same quality as that movie, it would probably be awesome.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna be honest, the shows that we watch, right?
I-
Real talk, I would not be. I like we watch Domestic Girlfriend, right, on our watch party weekly. I would not be watching that show without watching it with you guys.
yeah. 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 That's all I can say.
I don't think many people are.
Yeah. Yeah. But if we're going back to like some of my favorites, because I can list off some favorites, right? We already got Pulp Fiction. I'd say Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter.
There's only 113,000 people watching it. That's not very many.
Yeah, that's not at all. But yeah, let's see. Pulp Fiction, Goblet of Fire.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I did also enjoy Hunger Games. I only saw the first Hunger Games movie.
Oh, really? The other ones are pretty good.
Yeah, I just that was like the Hunger Games when that first came out. That was nearing the end of when I was like watching movies semi-consistently.
Right.
So, yeah, that's why I didn't.
Yeah, I enjoyed the Hunger Games movies. I was just disappointed with the third one, right?
Okay.
And I won't say anything because there's like it's like a major spoiler.
Gotcha.
But I was just disappointed in how they executed it, right?
Okay.
And I feel like that's just a common theme with anyone who's read the book or just watched a movie.
So it's a change from the book,
It's not like the plot changes,
or does
but
it just like not do
um,
it justice?
how they develop the plot
Okay.
doesn't follow logic, right?
Okay.
It's very logical how stuff happens in the book. Also, in the movie, how they end it is not how like it's the conclusion is how it ends, right?
Mm-hmm.
But how like
The middle.
characters complete their individual stories,
Okay.
right? The overall plot is one thing, but how they complete their individual stories is slightly different.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, yeah, I wanted the. I thought about watching them, so I might still do that.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be interested.
On an unrelated note, do you, like how much do you read?
I wish I read more right now. I really do, because I really do enjoy it. I love reading. I've loved reading since like the third grade. Harry
Okay,
Potter
so
was my series.
how do you feel about when characters die at the end of a series?
You know, I think, the best books I have ever read have always ended with
Mhm.
some sort of major loss.
Mhm.
Whether it be the main character dying, or like the main character's like some type of significant other,
Mhm.
either leaving or dying, or just like losing part of like their home or something like that.
Right.
Yeah. And so, how do I feel about it? If it's done right, I think it can be. I think it's very good. Honestly.
I agree. I think it's such a you have to execute it so well
Yeah.
to
Exactly.
to have a
Well,
character
'cause
die,
you have
and
to
when
have the
and when an
emotional
author
buildup.
right, and when an author is able to do that well, though, I think it's one of the most amazing ways to end a story, right?
Yeah.
Like let's take for example, like Shakespeare, right?
Okay.
His most popular play ever is Romeo and Juliet,
Juliet,
easily,
yeah.
right? In Romeo and Juliet,
Oh, I think you're dead. So
they
let me
die,
stab myself.
right? Right, and it's like it's not a lot of his stories end in a tragic way or a
Yeah.
subhearted way, right? And the reason that one of the reasons that he was such a popular playwright, right,
Mhm.
was because he was able to convey those emotions and like the tragedy of life,
Right.
which is weird because like he never dated, he like never fell in love, so I don't know how he was able to do it, man. He's a magician, but whatever the case, I think it's really interesting how
Right.
when someone's trying to execute a story and they kill off a character, how like amazing that can be.
Yeah. Well, I think as far as like we don't know how he pulled it off. I think that like never having been a part of something, like looking from the outside onto it, holds a lot less
Mhm.
bias than being a part of it, and so he could maybe more accurately in some ways describe what it is.
Yeah, I agree, man. So, on an unrelated note,
Okay. Another word.
So I don't know how to say this person's last name very
Okay.
well. Okay, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Jesse Smollett or
Oh.
Smollett? I don't know.
I
I don't
think
know.
it's
Like
Smollett.
it sounds like the T is
I
silent,
believe
but
it's
I don't know.
Smollett.
Smollett. Okay.
I'm not sure.
Whatever the case, this Jesse fellow.
This is a big case.
Yeah. We'll preface it for anyone who doesn't know who this guy is, right?
Yup.
He's a gay black man, okay? This is very important. He's a gay black man on Empire, right? Which is a TV show. I want to say is it CBS? I don't know. ABC or CBS or something like that.
I believe it's ABC.
I have not watched it either. But I know for a fact he's gay and black because he claimed, right, that some gentleman in a Make America Great Again hat, right, came up and attacked him, right?
Right.
And put a noose around his neck and beat him up and all this other stuff, right?
Yep.
And it was a hate crime against his race and his
Sexuality.
sexuality, and he's in jail now
Because
it turned out that's a big false.
Yep. Paid off his friends to do it.
Exactly, and that's a no.
That is
that's
a big
very
one. Which, okay. Looking at it, just like, let's see. He has a successful TV show. Like, he's made it. He's there. Why? You don't need any more publicity. You don't need any more, like, there's no...
Well, I think this is why I wanted to bring it up, because that actually leads in very well, because I wanted to explain, like, how this really reflects on the political climate anymore, right?
Okay.
Well, in my opinion, right? I feel like everyone in politics now is just doing this thing where they want to be the biggest victim, right?
Right.
And they want to get more of this victim pie, right?
Ooh.
And there's only so much pie to go around, okay?
Right.
So when people keep complaining, there has to be someone who is not getting the pie, right?
Right.
And so what people are trying to find out is who's the one without the pie, right?
Yeah.
And then you want to turn all your hate towards them, right? Yeah. And so it's been a really common thing in politics where people
Stunts,
are
basically.
fighting. Right, yeah, these stunts, right? And it's not like popular, I don't want to say, but when something like this happens, it really shows how sad the political climate is. There was no reason that he needed to do that. All he wanted to do was promote his political agenda, which is sad.
Because you're not making it look any better now that you've been, now that, like, the truth has been revealed.
You want to hear something else that's pretty crazy
Yeah.
that a lot of news stories aren't picking up on,
Sure.
right? And I actually read this in the what do you call that, like, really long report that they have about, like, a police incident?
The really long report.
I don't know. But they made, like, a really thorough report, right?
Right.
And I read through a big chunk of it, right? Because it was like 98 pages. I'm not going to read through the whole thing.
Yeah.
They were talking about how the guy who he paid off, right? And news stations are talking about this.
Yeah.
Was on Empire with him, right? They were talking about
Yeah.
that and worked out with him. Also, his drug dealer.
Oh.
That a lot of people aren't mentioning.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah, he mentioned that.
Yeah, and you want to know what's really sad though? A lot of these people are not like frowning upon him. Like, I've noticed, like, a lot of the media isn't frowning upon him. They're saying that it reflects a bigger issue in our political climate, and they're using it as a stepping stone, right?
Right.
And they're not using it as this guy should be in jail. And I think it's like, come on, man.
He should definitely be in jail.
Definitely should be in jail.
But they do have a point, because that's what you brought up too. It does reflect a bigger part of the political.
Right, but that's not what they're trying to claim. They're trying to claim, like, the Trump people are racist, right? Which I don't know. Either way, I don't know, but
okay, some Trump supporters definitely are.
Yeah, but okay. It's either side, I heard a really funny thing from a comedian I like, Bill Burr, right?
Yeah.
he was saying that everyone's always complaining about these racist white guys, right? Oh, all these racist white guys voted for Trump, and they're at his rallies yelling Trump, 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 right? But he goes, where are these racist white guys a couple years ago when they could have voted against a black president? It's like I don't mind, like, I can't do his accent right very well, but he's making fun of Southern people, right?
Oh, God.
He goes, I don't mind this black man, but this white lady, she's gonna take my 4-wheelers, my koozies, and it's so funny.
He's basically saying it's sexism instead of racism.
He's just saying that people are saying stuff that's really dumb.
Yeah.
People just vote for what they vote for. They
Hold
don't
on.
give a shit. People just vote for who they vote for. They don't give a shit about, like what doesn't affect them. So like a lot of white dudes, right? Racism just like doesn't track in their brains, It's
Yeah.
just like because they never experience it, right? And I don't know how racist the world is, but I'm just saying, like, or at least the United States. But I'm just saying, like, it just doesn't track. You just care about what you care about. It's your life.
Yeah.
Why would you care about someone else's life?
I think there are cases where you can.
Well, yeah, like if you personally care for someone,
Yeah,
right?
But not like
But that
across
doesn't.
the states.
But
you
like,
don't know.
well, no, like if you're voting for people, right?
Mhm.
You're looking at your own interests. You're saying, oh, what would be good for me, right?
Yeah.
I've never once thought to myself when I was voting, like, what would be good for the people around me, man? Like, no.
What would be good for everyone? I think I would.
Oh,
think about
this guy wants to give me more money. Hey, all right. Sounds like a good deal.
that. Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. This is so cases, because this was a legal case.
Mm-hmm.
There was I was in my jazz band class on Friday. This past
Very
Friday.
recently,
Yes,
as this is Sunday,
yes, and we were
which would mean that wasn't very many days ago.
this was 2 days ago.
Wow.
And we were-
Wait, no, wait. Friday to Sunday, 2 days ago. Wow. Okay, keep going.
Okay, thank you. So we were discussing another legal case, and this one was, it was between it involved two people, 19-year-old, 14-year-old, and probably from just me saying that you can guess where this is going. And the 19-year-old was accused of, I believe, eliciting, I think is the word, from a minor. No.
So what does that mean, though?
No, it's enticement of a minor. And then in child pornography, basically meaning he convinced the 19-year-old convinced the 14-year-old to send him nudes.
Mm-hmm.
And
This 19-year-old was like in your school still?
no. This is it's a whole. It was actually it was a mock case, I believe, for a field trip at the school. But we were discussing it. And how the 19-year-old wasn't found guilty or something. Wasn't found guilty for enticement, but was for the child porn because it was on his phone, and that's a big problem. But anyway, this was, and so obviously he got jail time and he's a registered sex offender. That was the outcome of the case.
Right.
And so we're discussing this in our jazz band class, and our instructor, our teacher, who's he's kind of short. He's Romanian. And he stands in front of this class. And I'm not even going to attempt to do the accent. Because it's frankly impossible for me. But he stands in front of the class after talking about this whole case. And he delivers this line. And that's why I always say, play the horn, don't watch porn. And oh my god, it killed me. Like, it killed the whole class. We were laughing.
Jesus.
But just like, imagine he's standing in front of like 20 high schoolers, and he's just like, he has this.
Much younger than him.
Oh yes, he's in his 50s at least. And he's standing there, and he has his hands on his hips, and he has this smile, and he knows he's about to deliver this amazing line. And oh my god, it was incredible. It was, yeah, play the horn, don't watch porn. Luckily,
That's actually so funny.
it is. Luckily for me, I play the guitar, which is a stringed instrument.
Wait, it's a stringed instrument.
Yeah.
Jeez, I wonder who wouldn't know that, Sam. Come on. Come on, Sam.
There's always there's always a minority. There's always a minority.
There sure is, Sam. There sure is.
Yep.
Neither of us are one of them, though.
Nope. Diversity, baby.
Yeah, both in race or in instrumental knowledge.
Majorities. We know
Hey,
that guitar is string.
But we are a very diverse podcast, you and me.
Oh yes, of course.
Brian's gone though. I don't even. Brian would make us so much more diverse, but
Yeah.
he just doesn't want to be here, I guess.
Whatever. Shrug it off.
Wow.
Shrug it off.
Shrug it off. All right.
Yeah. Dude. Okay, I'm still thinking about books.
Okay.
I'm still thinking about books. I love reading. I do wish.
Did I ever ask you what your favorite book was?
Not a specific book. Series. We got to my favorite series, which is the Inheritance series. Aragon. Aragon Eldest. The Brisingr Inheritance. Those are the first.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the 4 books.
Right.
Really, really solid series. So good. I remember I was rereading freshman year,
Mm-hmm.
and by the time I got to the last book is my favorite book, Inheritance.
Right.
I had never had such a strong desire throughout the entire day to do nothing but read. And that's like
Wow.
all I did. And it would
That's
like
the
days
best
would
feeling
just,
ever, though. That's such a good feeling when you just can sit there and read and read and read.
Yeah, while my homework sits there, but that was besides the point. At the time, that was the least of my concerns, because this book just like it ate the days away,
Mm-hmm.
and I was 100% okay with it. That was such an incredible book.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I got like when I started reading the Seven Realms series, right?
Yeah.
I had actually bought the books at a bookstore, and we were at my grandpa's at the time, right? And I had nothing to do because he doesn't have like internet or anything, or he didn't have internet or anything.
Yeah.
But and so I had the first 2 books of the series, and so I literally sat down in our camper because we had brought our camper.
Yep.
And just read all day.
Yep.
Finished that book that day. It's so good just to be so absorbed. But at the same time, I got to a point, and this happened like I'm not reading as much anymore, right?
Yeah.
Because I got to a point. It was actually this summer, right? Right before I met you.
Mm-hmm.
I only had a job where I was working like 15 hours a week, right? I was
Yeah.
a wedding planner helper, right? Which is like I set up the venue and everything.
Okay.
And what it was that you would only do it on weekends, because like you don't do that stuff during the week.
Right.
And so, yeah, so what we were doing was we were actually only working like 15 hours a week, right? At most. And I had a lot of time, and I was literally sitting down for like 6-7 hours a day just reading, right?
Right.
And it got to a point where it was becoming like an addiction, and it like wasn't healthy.
Yeah.
Which is kind of silly if you think about it. So I had to like nip that in the bud, and then that was like when I had got the job that I'm working at now, where I was at the time working like 80 hours a week.
Jesus.
It was so time consuming.
Yeah.
But well, between work and school right now, I'm probably doing about 80 hours. But yeah, I needed to stop reading so much. But at the same time, like 1 year, I read like over 300 books, which
Yeah.
is kind of amazing.
Yeah. It's such a trap because, like, I always want the books to last when I'm really enjoying them. But then I'm really enjoying them, so they don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's always that feeling. I know the exact feeling,
Yeah. Like, why is
but
this ending so fast, but I can't stop?
The weirdest thing though is when you have to do this thing where you have to pace yourself.
Yeah.
Because you don't want the
Yeah.
book to end, You have like 3 chapters left, and you're like, well, if I read 1 chapter today.
7 pages.
Yeah, exactly. I love that so much though. I actually did that a lot when I was a kid, right?
Mhm.
Where I would be playing video games or whatever it was, right? And the video game was about to end. So what I would do is I would stop playing it, right?
Mhm.
But then I would never finish it because I just never get back
Yeah,
around
you
to it.
never get- yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Books are awesome. I really
are
love
awesome.
books, right? Because they got me through like hard times,
Oh yeah.
And like it's just so nice to be able to be disconnected from the world,
It's a
right?
personal
And
escape
I've
for
never
sure.
exactly, and I've never felt that with like TV shows or anything. Like I don't feel that personal escape like I do with
I believe
books.
that's the Blind Melon lyric from No Rain. I'm gonna look this up. Excellent song, by the way.
I don't think I've heard it.
You probably have.
I probably have.
It's
All right.
it's it's a song. It's actually one of these songs where this opening little I guess, motif, because it just repeats, is, I think it's like one of the, like, it's super recognizable, but not a lot of people know the name of it. I'm pretty sure like almost everybody has heard it. Blind Melon, No Rain. But yeah, it says like, and all I can do is read a book to stay awake, and it rips my life away, but it's a great escape.
Wow, that's a really good line. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, man, it can get you out of some crazy stuff. I actually that really leads into like something else. Like I was thinking about that, but like whenever you're really depressed, like reading is a really good way to get out of it. And I was actually watching this music video the other day from a band called Prevail, if you've ever heard them.
Mm-hmm. I've not.
They're a more like screamo-esque type of hard rock band, right? And I'd actually say they're kind of metal, but what they did is they were talking about it because their actual lead singer has like I don't know what you call it, but like chronic depression.
Yeah,
like you know, like a, is that what it is?
Yeah.
So like he has chronic depression, and so they made this whole song about depression, right? And how it really is crazy. And at the end of the music video, there was this text on screen, and it was from the singer, and it just said when you have depression, you don't control your thoughts control you, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so powerful, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It amazed me, and it was like that's so true. But like, if like even if you have that depression, like it's so great to have an escape, right?
Oh yeah.
And it's so hard to find. You can't find that in real life, right?
Well, I think there's certain things like maybe like a walk at night, where it's just kind of like everyone's in their house and you're just out there walking. Maybe like, I don't know, even like 15 minutes, right? Just a short little walk.
That just sounds like a good way to get got. If I'm gonna be honest.
We'll do it in a safe place.
Yeah, I don't know. Like sometimes you just like I actually think about this a lot. A lot of people are I don't know a better way to put it, but like stuck in their heads, you know?
Oh, for sure.
And like people are scared of their own thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, and you see that a lot. And like,
well, isn't that the old?
I've heard.
I believe what president said it. I'm so ashamed of myself. Only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I'm gonna look that up because
it's the World War II. Why don't I know that?
Yeah, FDR.
FDR.
So.
Okay. Yeah, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself, and that's
our
very thoughts.
True. Well, I heard a really interesting thing from a psychologist. I might have actually said this before because I remember talking about this with someone, right? And I might have been with you, so it might have been on the podcast.
Okay.
But I heard this really interesting thing from a psychologist. I don't know. He's a professor, right, but also like studies the human psychology.
Okay.
And his name is why does his name slip me right now? I was actually just listening to him, and he was on the Joe Rogan podcast, right? And I think his last name's Peterson or something like that. One sec. Yeah, Jordan Peterson, right?
All right.
And he's really political now, but I listened to the Joe Rogan podcast, so I was listening to an episode with him.
Right.
And he's very smart, but one of the things he oh yes, exactly. So what it was that he was saying that and I think he might have been quoting this from someone else, but everyone's like super psychotic, right?
Right.
And the fact that you can get in your own psychology is very important, right? But the people who are truly sane are the people who have realized their insanity, right? And are able to control it. And so he was talking about how a lot of war veterans get PTSD, right? And what'll happen is this is the reason they get PTSD is because they have such animalistic instincts, you know, being in war, because you have to you're getting in your head,
right,
you're feeling out the train, and you're just in this high stress, high adrenaline environment all the time.
Next to your ear.
Right, and then like when you get home, you don't know how to turn that off, right? And he's talking about how you realize your insanity, right? And if you're able to control your sanity, those are the people who are the people who can overcome their PTSD, right?
Okay.
But the people, because everyone has some sort, like, you're not gonna be the same person going into war as you are coming out,
Oh yeah,
right?
for sure.
So you have a different mentality. So it's those people who can turn off and like just become their, like, I don't want to call it sane self,
Right. They're
but just the self that is recognized in society as normal.
right. Yeah. I mean, the brain is such a powerful thing. Really, it really is.
Really is, and it's great that we have like things like books and everything where we can escape from that, because sometimes you don't want to be at the mercy of your own thoughts, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or your own brain, because it can be the best things and the worst things,
Yeah, for sure.
Mentality is really interesting, because at one point you can be the happiest you ever been, and at other times you can just be super sad, and there doesn't have to be a reason.
Yeah,
You know?
exactly. But it's so like powerful too, the way you think about things. Just the way you think about things.
I also don't think that we're directly at mercy with our own thoughts, though, at the same time. Because the only thing we can change is ourselves, right?
Right.
And so why can't we control our emotions? And like, I think we can to a certain extent, because if you look at like a situation, there's no inherently happy, inherently sad, inherently good, inherently bad situation, right?
Right.
It's all how you perceive the situation.
Exactly.
So can we change our perception to make ourselves happier?
So I think, yeah, I mean, a couple of times, I've been feeling kind of bad, right? It's like it happens, right?
Of course.
And then I just like stop, and I think about it, and I just like do my best to think as unbiased as I can, because once you start feeling bad, you get like this total negative bias about everything, and everything seems worse than it actually is.
Exactly.
And so I just try to like keep myself a little grounded, and then I think about, why am I feeling bad? Why? What is the reason? And if there is a reason, I look at it and I go, okay, why is this so bad? Why is this such a bad thing? And how can I turn it into a not bad thing? And sometimes there isn't really a reason. And
Right.
I've been able to just look at myself kind of and be like, why are you sad? Stop being sad. And it really does work.
But are you familiar with the concept of socialization?
Explain it.
It's the concept of where how we grow up, right? And how our mentality develops is based in things around us, right?
Right.
So which is very true, right? But the concept is that things shape your mentality, right? And they shape unconscious thought as well as conscious, right?
For sure.
And so like it's the same thing where, like, if this is a really easy way to put it, like if your parents were racist, you're more likely to be a racist, right? You get the point there.
Yeah. Tying back to what I just said, my mom, I would always say something along the lines of like, just like when something like unimportant was bothering me, she was just be like, you're making a choice to be sad right now. So
Or like
make a choice to be happy.
Exactly. And like like you can see this like socialization also in like dialect, and like how people form words. You're most likely to have the accent that your parents have, right? But the whole point of it is that I think you're very socialized into how your mentality is, and that's just not directly socialized, but I think it's unconsciously picked up over time. You perceive this as a bad situation, and this is a good situation. Which is good, because you can discern right from wrong a lot of the times,
Right.
And that's why people with mental issues have a lot of issues, because sometimes they can't understand that socialization, right? That's a big basis in the mental health crisis.
Right.
But the thing is that when you're trying to like develop all these thoughts and all these emotions to situations, I think that you can also do it later in life. You can still be socialized through your whole life, right?
Yeah.
You learn new things, you change. But the one thing is that, like, why can't we could perceive a situation in the same way, but also take it better, I believe, from just that socialization, that constant thought.
Yeah.
So I think if you have a positive attitude, I think it'll be very infectious and continue forward.
Oh yeah. Just
And I mean infectious to yourself.
Right. And like kind of like a momentum type thing.
Exactly.
Dominoes. Yeah. It's so.
But sometimes you can't help it. Sometimes you're just sad.
Yeah. Exactly. And then yeah, like probably due to my mom being like, you're making a choice. Like, I've had the ability to just stop being sad. Like choosing.
Right, but not every time you're sad is a choice.
Right, exactly.
That's for sure.
Exactly. That's not
like there are things that are sad, and you should never not be sad for something, right?
No.
If it's a sad thing,
Yeah.
because that would be depriving yourself of a lot as well.
It's an important emotion for sure.
Exactly.
It ties into empathy, which is very important, I think.
I think empathy is honestly one of the most important things to have in life, and I think that's the thing that's most misunderstood in humans.
Yeah.
It's like the empathy for others,
Mm-hmm.
It's so misinterpreted, and that's why we have this big issue. It also really ties back into the political climate where one side thinks that they're the other side's an idiot, and the other side thinks the other side is evil,
and
right?
no one's
and
choosing to try to actually understand each other.
Exactly. It's like you need that empathetic thought.
Right.
But I think too much empathy can lead to self-destruction as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
But wow, Sam, we've really gone down the rabbit hole, haven't we?
A little bit.
Mental thought. I mean, still no Brian. I don't think we got any closer today, but I think it's a good time to wrap it up. Say our goodbyes, Sam.
Our goodbyes.
Okay, that's where I'm ending it.